What's that? Are we good? You want me to talk? I don't know. Are you playing charades?
Are we live?
Are we
Shabbat,
live?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Let's ask.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Our opening song, Ve'asuli Mikdash V'shochanti Betocham. Let them build me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them, their midst. You can find it in the opening cover page of our prayer book. So there's no page number for you, but you'll see Mishkan Tefillah, our shelter of Tefillah, and it's the next page.
Right, so these words are in our portion in Parshat Terumah. They're kind of like the highlighted words of this week's portion. They're on the cover page of our prayer book, like Rabbi said. And I didn't know that these words were on the cover page of the prayer book until our bar mitzvah, Eli, said to me, I want to show you something. This morning he showed me that on the cover page at the bottom, the Rabbi just held it up, it says, Va'asuli mikdash v'shachanti bitocham. And so we're going to create a sanctuary of people today as we begin. So we're going to start with just lie, lie, lie. Eli, lie, lie. Goes like this. Yai, lie, lie. Yai,
So we're going to build this sanctuary tonight, this sanctuary that we build for God, that God might dwell in all of us. It's sort of a profound statement. It's, I think it's like the clergy's favorite line to lift up in this Torah portion this week. If you go to the development department, the favorite line to lift up is the fact that this is the most successful fundraising campaign in all of Jewish fundraising, except, of course, for whatever our next fundraising campaign will be. Just to put that out there. But it's what we're here to do each and every Friday night, each time we gather here in person or on our live stream. We create this shelter of peace, this sanctuary that we build when we come together. And that is part of our task this evening, our task every Shabbat, our task as a community, particularly this evening as we are wrapping up the end of our Focus on Inclusion Month. We think about building a sanctuary made up of each and every individual and all the gifts that they bring wherever they are in their lives. I want to point out over the many years of the work of our incredible inclusion committee, there are these wonderful Shabbat bags that are in the back. If you're a kid or if you have a hard time sitting still, you're welcome to go grab a quiet bag full of quiet activities. I want to give a special shout out as well to our sixth graders and their families who are here as sort of the kickoff to our B'nai Mitzvah family retreat this weekend. So hello, sixth graders. Hello to your families. And if anybody would like as well, there's also a social story that we put together a while back that kind of walks you through what to expect at Friday night services. That's available. A couple copies of that are available out on the table next to the prayer books. And also good, if you don't have one already, to have a prayer book. You can grab one of those from our greeters out on the cart out in the foyer. So welcome, Shabbat Shalom. We are going to continue our service by bringing a little bit of extra light into our midst. We're going to invite the Levy family up to light candles on page 2 or 120. So I'll call up Eli Levy, our bar mitzvah this weekend, and his parents, Lori and Phil, and his grandparents, Joan Rabin, and Bob Rabin, and your brother Nathan as well.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu Shel Shabbat.
So Eli, I'm going to ask your family to stay up here with you and give this to you to lead us in Kiddush, page 5 or 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'chava uvratzon hinhilanu, zikaron maseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tehila, lamikra'e kodesh, zeher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, v'iltanu kidasha, mikol hamim, v'sh Shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava v'ratzon kinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Chaim.
I drink it.
Mazel tov. It's just juice. Mazel tov. You guys can go sit down. Nicely done. Nicely done. Nicely done. You can go sit down.
Continue our service, page 20 or 138. We welcome Shabbat as if it were a bride. Welcome it into our midst. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And for the 9th verse, we'll rise and face the entrance.
Shabbat, Boi v'shalom, ateret mana, gam besimcha, u'b'tzola, b'toch emunei, am segula, boi chala, boi chala, yai lai lai, ya la 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 lecha dani, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nikabel, ya la 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 lecha dani, yai lai lai likrat kala, ya lai lai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nikabel.
So just as we welcome Shabbat, it's also important to welcome each other into Shabbat as well. So I want to invite you, now that you're standing, I've made it much easier for you to turn to somebody that you didn't come in here with, introduce yourself quickly, and maybe share one sweet thing from this week that you're taking with you into Shabbat. You have 30 seconds. All right, finish your sentence and come back. I know there are lots of interesting people here to meet, I'm telling
All
you.
right, all right. It's a lot to say.
So just as we welcome each other, and just as we finish the section of the service where we really welcome Shabbat into our midst, we also welcome the mourners or those who have come from a house of mourning with the traditional words of the Jewish people. Please stay standing. With the traditional words of comfort and consolation. Hamakom yenachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avelei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort all those who mourn in Jerusalem and comfort all who are bereaved. We say together, Amen. We'll continue our service on page 28 or 146 with words of Baruch Hu.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai
Continue with this prayer of love, ahavat olam, page 32 or 150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amecha avta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shombeinu u'b'kumeinu Natziach b'chukecha V'nitzmach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגיע יומם ולילה כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגיע יומם ולילה כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגיע יומם ולילה כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגיע יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
You can be seated. It's my pleasure to call up next week's bat mitzvah, Sammy Waxman, to lead us in the words of Ve'ahavta, page 36 or 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושופך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך ובטחתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם
continue on page 40 or 158, words of Micha Mocha, our song of celebration.
יפדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
As we sing our prayer for the evening, Hashkivenu, you can find the words on side A, song number 3. There should be one of these in the pocket in the back of the pews. I want to just lift your attention, the words in English, shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. And it's sort of a funny concept, God having wings. We see it in Jewish tradition, but I want us to think about the ways in which these are the wings of Adonai. These are God's wings, our hands, our arms, our presence for each other in moments of need. We are God's wings. So just something to think about as we sing this prayer for the evening.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
you're able, I invite you to rise as we turn to page 46 or 164 for the beginning of the Amidah. We'll sing this opening meditation together. God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. A reminder, whatever words we utter in this moment, if we engage with the divine in some way, or maybe it's a conversation with ourselves or our soul or our conscience, those are words of prayer. And so we'll sing these opening words together on page 46 and then take some time for our own private prayer through page 63. And when you've finished your prayer, you can be seated.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la la la. Adonai sepatai tiftach ufi yakid teilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. On this Shabbat Terumah, when we talk about creating a sanctuary, we think of what it feels like to ask somebody to hold us, to help us, to be our sanctuary. and what it feels like to rely on each other in that way and to come together for each other in that important way. And today, when we're celebrating inclusion here at Beth Am, we want people to know that we are here for them, we're here to hold them exactly who they are and in exactly what place they're coming to us from. This song is called Sanctuary. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. This one knocked me to the ground, this one dropped me to my knees. I should have seen it coming, but it surprised me. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. In a state of true believers, on a street called us and them, it's gonna take some time till the world feels safe again. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. You can rest here in this chapel or with the circle of friends, a quiet grove or trees, or between two bookends. Will you be my refuge, my shelter in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. Will you be my refuge?
Turn now to page 253 or 371 for the words of Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. We take time now to think of those in our lives who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit, those who suffer from mental illness or addiction, We hold them all in our hearts as we offer these words of prayer. And tonight we are especially thinking of Jerry Behar, Miles Bennett, Susan Carlson, Lauren Diaz, Rudy Andrizzi, Marty Gelman, Selena Glader, Benedict Gross, Diana Guthoner, Moritz Huppert, Donald Korn, Linda Kramer, Jordan Leon, Bernie Marcus, Susan Marks, Sophia Palisban, Rabbi Lori Phillips, Margie Richards, Stephen Avraham Simon, David Baruch Ben Simona, Len Williams, and Katie Wilson. If there are others you're praying for tonight, please share their names aloud. Now my pleasure to invite up Stephanie Seeger, our speaker this evening. I'm not going to tell you too much of her bio because she's going to share a little bit about herself and her work in her talk tonight, but she is our wonderful inclusion specialist. Welcome, Stephanie.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephanie Seeger, and I'm the inclusion specialist here at Beth Am. I'm also a 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade special day class teacher during the week. My devar tonight is technically about inclusion, but it's also about love. Fitting that Inclusion Month is in February. Some education background. Most people think of education as just in the classroom. But when you get a degree in education, it's actually a bachelor's of science in education. Education and how we teach is actually a result of lots of scientific inquiry and research. It's not static, it changes over time. And in the last 20 years, there's been lots of interest in how the brain learns. And we've always known that people learn differently and in different ways, but now we realize this is actually a good thing. When it comes to treating people, all people, with kindness and respect, there are no exceptions to the rule. The Torah says that even a rich, important landowner must treat every one of his staff with care and respect. The Torah way is never to look down on or exclude anyone. Technically, though, inclusion is the act or practice of including students with differing abilities within the general education population, not separating them. Inclusive education systems understand the importance of the unique contributions students from diverse backgrounds and who have different learning styles, what they bring into the classroom. Inclusion means we create a space so everyone can learn, not just the academics, but everything that they need, all the tools they need to be a successful person. What does that mean, though? Well, here at Beth Am, I work with teachers and parents to best support students with different learning needs in our Sunday program and Hebrew classes. I suggest accommodations that will help both students and teachers, because both students and teachers benefit when everyone is supported. In a classroom setting, you'll hear the word accommodations a lot. An accommodation is just a support we give students so that they can better learn. I call them supports for success. The first time I remember seeing an accommodation was in 5th grade. One of the kids in my class was always in trouble for being out of their seat. I don't want to say their name, so just for ease of use, we'll call him Albert Einstein. When Albert and the teacher finally compromised that he could just stand with one knee on the chair and get all of his work done, I saw relief from both parties. That accommodation actually helped them both. This, of course, was back when students' desks were in nice, neat rows. Paying attention meant you actually had to have your eyes, your ears, everything, your body turned toward the teacher at all times. But the education system in our country was set up at the same time as in the Industrial Revolution. With assembly lines, everything is the same, all kids the same age, in the same classroom, very cookie cutter. But we aren't cookies, and we don't fit into molds, and children don't either. Babies get high chairs to sit in, and it accommodates their size and how they manage or, mismanage their food. Kindergartners get those big fat pencils. It accommodates their tiny little hands and their grip. Here at Beth Am, our Sunday program and Hebrew teachers have access to supports like fidgets, which I know can be like, we've all heard about fidgets or seen fidgets, but for those students that really just need to be using their hands. Some of you might have been used to doodling a little bit, like in the margins as your teacher was talking, and you could still hear them and understand them, but fidgets are just kind of like the upgrade to doodling. And we have wiggle seats for students who need to move around so they're not out of their seat all the time, like our friend Albert, but it helps them stay seated and move. This year, teachers have also added visual schedules on their board for students who need to see what's coming next and who enjoy their routines. There's actually a room for students to go to if they feel like they just need a calm space. And I also regularly see our madrachim taking students for walks in the hallway when they need breaks. We don't exclude students who need to move or take breaks or have big feelings. We help them stay in class. Here in the sanctuary, Rabbi Heath mentioned we have bags at the back of the room to help keep our youngest members occupied during services. We understand they have different abilities when it comes to attention. We don't exclude them from services because they're uchi. We help them stay. And we have accommodations for adults too. Our friends who are unable to make it to services in person can live stream our services on YouTube, let's say, and that way they can continue to enjoy our community from the comfort of their own homes. Hi, everybody. For our congregants who want to come to synagogue but who might have trouble walking, we have reserved parking spaces. That accommodation is, of course, part of the American with Disabilities Act laws. In this week's Torah portion, Adonai says, "Tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts. You shall accept gifts for me from everyone whose heart is so moved, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them." And children, of course, have the purest hearts. In the workplace, we also have options to work from home, staggered hours, standing desks, to accommodate working parents, those for whom sitting all day is uncomfortable. We don't exclude these folks from the workforce. We help them stay. Companies know that happy employees are more productive. Of course, children are not employees. They're not paid for any of the tasks that are expected of them. Getting up on time in the morning, eating, showering, brushing, getting dressed, getting to school on time, being sure to remember their homework, lunch, water bottle, coat, etc., focusing during all their classes, even the boring ones, while they sit all day listening and talk, taking in as much as they possibly can so that they complete all their schoolwork and their homework, getting home with everything they brought to school, any chores they do regularly at home, sitting at dinner and giving us insights into their day, the wash, flush, brush of bedtime. We all know that happy, healthy children have a much easier time with all of these tasks. Anyone who's tried to convince a grumpy teen to empty the dishwasher knows. But what we get in return is not productivity, it's love. Smiles, hugs, eyes that light up, hands held, joking, laughs. Getting to watch your children blossom and grow, succeed, and become young adults you admire is the ultimate gift. As a teacher, I have the honor of loving and being loved by my students every day, not just in February. It's one of the many benefits of providing those supports for success. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Stephanie, for your words of love and Torah. And since it is our focus on Inclusion Month, we wanted to take a few moments tonight to express our thanks to the lay leaders who've made such an impact on Beth Am through their work to make this congregation a more inclusive and welcoming place to people of all abilities. Just about 10 years ago, a small group of passionate congregants led by the unstoppable Leah Strauss and Steve Bauman got together to envision what it would take to make our education programs and our whole synagogue accessible to children and adults with special needs. Over this past decade, the Include Committee has worked tirelessly to raise awareness and funds to make meaningful changes to our programming, our infrastructure, and our culture. We now have an inclusion specialist built into our youth education budget every year, and all of our educators and teachers have been trained to use inclusive methods in their teaching. A special shout out to educators Sarah Lowing-Cohen, Alex Lyon, and Lauren Bone, who have especially worked hard to make inclusion an integral and integrated part of youth education at Beth Am. In recent years, the Include Committee, chaired by the amazingly wonderful Melissa Kelly, has also expanded its mission to address other issues, in particular LGBTQ inclusion. The Beth Am program team and lay leadership recently decided that our inclusion efforts cannot continue without a standing Include committee. So as we sunset the committee, as we like to say, I want to express my deep gratitude to all the members of Include, past and present, who've worked so hard and with so much love for this community. So many of the past and present members could not be here tonight. They're all skiing, I think. But for those of you who are here, if you'd please stand and receive our thanks. We have Melissa Kelly here, our wonderful chair. Yeah, give her a clap. And I'll just read the names of those who have been part of this effort for so many years. Leah Strauss, Steve Bauman, Melissa Kelly, Cindy Schlesinger, Stacy Ashland, Susan Orm, Abby Tamara, Benji Strauss, Ann Rando, Peggy Pizzo, Lauren Ford, Allison Barnstable, Rachel Kint, and Jennifer Frankel.
Yay, woo!
And I just want to end by saying, while the Include Committee will no longer meet, the work of inclusion, the welcoming of people of all abilities, genders, ethnicities, and walks of life goes on. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It's not upon us to finish the task, but neither are we free to desist from it. We continue to work towards the day when all people will be seen and cherished as being made b'tselem Elohim, in the image of God. In honor of Include, let's sing Lo Alecha, page 341 or 645.
Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, velo ata ben chori libatel minena, velo ata ben chori.
It's a fun one. Let's turn to page 282 or 586 as we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, yeah, 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 one day, one day, one day. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. One day, one day, one day.
Please be seated. We prepare for the prayer of memory, page 290 or 594. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me. Your laugh once lifted me. Your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. As I say the name of your loved one, if you would like to rise in their honor, please do. This week we mourn the loss of our member Phyllis Carroll, wife of Irving, sister of Shirley Horenstein and Murray Rusinowitz, mother of Michelle, Jennifer, David, and Robert, mother-in-law of Mark, Josh, Wendy, and Marnie, grandmother of Gabrielle, Jessica, Joey, Abigail, Natalie, Jack, and Ryan. We're observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, for our member Joanne Elovich, Jackson Bediak, Martin Sobel, Stella Wilner, and Rachel Murad. And we are observing the yahrzeit, the anniversary of death, of Elmer Henry Asen, Leanne Grace Bischoff, Richard Boyd, Helen Brenner, Stephen Bronstein, Isidore Elster, Jack Elster, Ann Fleischman, Helen Fox, Sylvia Friedman, Lillian Fromkus, Shirley Levitt Gaynor, Joseph Gilbert, Rose Glassman, Chaim Goli, Nancy Brownstein Goldstein, Harry Greenberg, Maureen Grosser, May Haber, Blanche Haberman, Irma Hartfield, Harry Hartman, Robert Max Heilman, Matthew Horning, Merton Hubbard, Elaine R. Hubbard, James Eisenberg, Matthew Kahn, Audrey Casper, Arthur Kellman, Mason Kronick, Julia Kropalnik, Sarah Kraus-Kurtz, Robert Lehrman, Joan Lerner, Marvin Levin, Alex Levy, Dvoira Lomazova, Kastriel Mednikov, Adele Mitchner, Morris Parborsky, Esther Person, Abe Price, Miriam Resnick, Francis Romani, Joseph Schwartz, David Sumahu, Daniel Carl Schaefer, Emily Schaefer, Julius Shochat, Carolyn Hirsch Silver, Virginia Grace Smith, Thomas Samuel Snyder, Lillian Steinmuller, Michael Stopel, Phil Sugarman, Belle Tuck, Harry Urban, Rudy Varro, Jean Wilder, Richard Wolfeld, David Woolman, Hannah Zisman, Barry Zuckerwise, Ruth Zuckerwise, and Lily Zwarenstein. If there's someone else that you are remembering tonight, please rise and share their names with us. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We turn to page 294, 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach leolam olalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei d'kudsha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. Together we say, amen. Before we conclude our service, I want to direct your attention to a few tzedakah opportunities. We have our regular tzedakah box, which is in the foyer if you carry money on Shabbat. This month we are collecting for Coastside Hope's Farm Workers Fund and Puente de la Costa Sur. Both organizations are helping communities on the San Mateo coast who've suffered so much already this year. You can also donate online on our website or Venmo at Beth-Am. I also want to direct your attention to something else you'll find in the foyer, which is our Bar Mitzvah's Tzedakah project. He's collecting money for CHAC, which is helping children who need therapy, who can't afford it, to get the services they need. So you can check out the information out there. And finally, this week we mark the first anniversary, hopefully only anniversary, of the war in Ukraine. And we are sponsoring one of our big fundraisers for our Poltava and Odessa committees, where we collect money to support our sister congregations in Ukraine. Is trivia night tomorrow night here at Beth-Am in the social hall, 7:30. Walk-ins welcome. If you know trivia, you might win something. If you don't, you're still supporting a really important and great cause. Please join us. We pray for peace.
Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Happy birthday, Dad.
Russell Norman, you are a